18, the supercharged Austin 7 of Timothy Roebuck. On pole position, John Village. Number 29, the white Village V2. As the race gets underway and the lights go out, I think they all get away, which is good to see. It is John Village there on the outside line for the right-hander at Hatchett's that's going to lead into the first corner. Number 29 leading then, number 18 Timothy Roebuck in second place, and he's being attacked on two sides by two of the historic 751 cars. Well, that's Richard Pryor, who appeared from nowhere into a shot, avoided everybody and has looped it round and is rejoining the race. Oh, give a friendly wave, sorry folks, and he's back into the race.
Yeah, tricky start that. Maybe cold breaks into the first corner. We're always going to catch one or two out, but he was right in the mid-pack and did very well to avoid those around him. Yellow flags quickly coming out for anybody behind thinking about overtaking. You need to have very quick reactions on this opening lap, but it is John Village then who's got the good getaway, a win yesterday. Timothy Roebuck's car typically doesn't get away from its starting position that well, but then the supercharged nature of its engine coming back into the reckoning partway through the race. So we'll keep an eye on the progress of the number 18 car, the Austin 7 Special of Timothy Roebuck.
We certainly will. So there's Graham Wilson in the time 3B, number 7, going through Honda Curve for the first time in this race, behind John Village, long-time team owner in Formula Ford, and as Josh was saying, he ran cars here in Formula Vauxhall Lotus and Formula Vauxhall Junior as well here at Pembrey, but it was the first time he'd raced here yesterday. All the times he'd been coming here running cars for young drivers. We've got three cars side by side outside our commentary box window, one of the Austin 7s, but watching at the moment the battle here for 6th and 7th positions, and that's Lyndon Thruston in the HCS Mark II and Nigel Howard in the Centaur. They were doing battle for 6th place.
Roebuck going through shot, being chased down by Tim Sage then in his Mallock, and then Trevor Slatter, who started in 7th position and has gained a couple of spots therefore in number 72. He's racing the Centaur Mark 11. Nigel Howard's car, number 2, just going through the tight right-hander at Brooklands and on towards the kink then, a very fast Carter's Curve, where you're just balancing the car through a very fast right-hander, leading you into Honda, which does require a more substantial dab of the brakes to get the nose of the car down and through a tricky apex. Very easy to run wide on the exit of that corner. John Village across the line, and he has Graham Wilson in attendance, just a second back.
And has got a new lap record, but has he then gone off the circuit? Yes, he has gone off the circuit, John Village, at Hatchett's Hairpin. We can just see that out of our window. He just got the new lap record, a 1:14.16. Richard Pryor from 8th, or back up to 8th place there. He's going through after his off on the first lap. But yeah, we'll try and pick up where John Village is in all of this after what looked like an off at Hatchett's Hairpin out of our window. At the moment, though, we're looking after the number 42 car in 4th position. That's the Mallock of Tim Sage.
I'd be surprised if Graham Wilson was in a position to attempt an overtake, so probably an unforced error from John Village, but now confirmed that Wilson's time 3B is ahead of John Village's V2. And some tough work to do now. It's about a 1/10 of a second quicker, John Village is on average. Now there's a drama, though, for car number 1, which is Greg and Thruston's Rawson Special. And that is at the wrong end of the pit lane, isn't it? So yeah, it's doing a 5-point turn and heading back into pit road the wrong way.
As the two leaders are over the line together, so it's Graham Wilson, who only started racing in 2020, with a man with a lot more experience than his about John Village getting back into the lead on the way into the Hatchett's Hairpin, although Wilson will have the line. Oh, and nicely done, back up on the inside for Graham Wilson, who was inspired to join the historic 750 Formula after a visit to Alton Park in 2019. He tried to get into Simon Bolter's car, which was for sale at the time, but he physically couldn't get in it. He says a life of playing rugby and working outdoors didn't really contribute to an ideal racing physique. Well, clearly the time 3B is suiting it now, and he's lost out. Oh, as they go wheel to wheel, and he spins onto the grass, Graham Wilson. Maybe it was tempting fate there, trying to find a gear to get back into the race, but John Village now has the lead on a plate.
was desperate not to make contact with John, wasn't he, on the run into the centre S's, and veered to the left to avoid that, but then couldn't stop the pendulum, which swung in completely the wrong direction. Another car now off the road at the end of pit lane is Hugo Pickup in number 69, the car that was raced yesterday by Mike Pickup. They are sharing the Austin 7 Ulster replica this weekend. Car 69 quite possibly out of the race as well. Keep catching a sight of Bridport's Tim Sage in his Mallock, and Tim, well, with the various incidents going on at the head of the order, has worked his way up to third position now.
Yellow flags waving while another of the Austin 7s is retrieved to the pit lane, keeping the rescue crew based down there, very busy as they recover cars. There's Richard Pryor continuing to make his comeback up the order. He was gunning for 4th place there. He's going to probably end up 6th behind Lyndon Thruston again, because Thruston has the inside line for Spitfires, but Pryor's going to have the inside line for DeBenny in that JGS, and he's going to go back through on the inside.
So Tim Sage actually up to 2nd place, of course, because of the very wayward moment from Graham Wilson's time 3B on the run into Brooklands. Nigel Howard nibbling away at the rear of the 72 car of Trevor Slatter, then in 3rd. So the 2 Centaurs going hard at it, and a recovering Richard Pryor, who spun or had to loop the car at the first corner on the opening lap. He gains 2 spots in one manoeuvre there.
Nicely done by Richard Pryor, who won a few races over the last couple of seasons, so he's very quick, and presumably after that first corner at least he's finding today's conditions much more to his liking. Up front though, it is John Village continuing to lead by about 9 seconds now from in 2nd place Tim Sage. Oh, was off the circuit goes Trevor Slatter on the run towards Honda there, so he's lost a bit of time because of that. Just about to say though, Tim Sage is the only sort of 1 litre car in the race. That's the Ford 1 litre engine. The majority of the cars in Class C being the 850cc Reliant engines that power them.
Nigel Howard down to the first corner at Hatchett's again. Some breathing space in front and behind actually, but not very far away is Lyndon Thruston in the HCS Mark II. So Thruston now getting a couple of wheels on the curb at Spitfires. Approaching half distance in this race. Howard running in 4th, Thruston 5th, Trevor Slatter, after a slight error a moment or 2 ago, slipping to 6th position in the Centaur. And Richard Pryor now shaping up Tim Sage for an overtake on the Mallock. This is for 2nd and 3rd, arriving at Brooklands Hairpin.
Just pretty much halfway through the race at the moment, then, with 7.5 minutes to go. It's been a dramatic race so far, plenty of incident. We've not talked too much about what's going on in the Austin 7 division though. Tim Roebuck has gradually, as Pryor gets onto the grass, has a big moment there. Tim Roebuck's gradually dropped back down the order, but he's still leading the supercharged Austin 7 class in 7th place overall. He's about 14 or 15 seconds clear of Simon Gallen. Charlie Plain Jones is about 7 seconds clear of Richard Verheyden in the normally aspirated Austin 7s. But let's focus for the moment on this battle for what is now 2nd, 3rd and 4th, Johnny, in Class C.
I don't think I've necessarily done Timothy Roebuck a favour in saying that his car comes good mid-race, because he's actually been losing places lately, down to 6th position in the supercharged Austin 7 Special. John Village leading though with the fastest lap in hand currently, and has a lead of nearly 13 seconds now over Tim Sage because of all sorts that has been happening in John's wake. And this fight for 2nd place really livening up. Richard Pryor to the inside in the low slung number 27 car, the DNC Mark III. And to his outside, Nigel Howard. A little bit of a lock up there from Richard. Did he control that? Yeah, still finds the apex just about. And a better exit than Tim Sage from Brooklands.
6 minutes left to go then, and it's Pryor up on the inside through the right-hander across. Oh, there's a back marker ahead which has compromised things a little bit there. That's the I think the 11 car of James Miles, who's in 11th position overall as well. And they're going to be coming up to the lap Charlie Plain Jones as well, the Austin 7 non-supercharged class leader any moment now. So it's still Sage in 2nd, Pryor in 3rd and Howard in 4th position. They're a little bit further clear now of Trevor Slatter, who stays 5th.
The top 5 overall are all from the Class C division though, and these are the quickest of the cars, as squeezing up the inside of number 22, one of the back markers. That's Charlie Plain Jones, as you mentioned, leading the non-supercharged part of Class A. But Timothy Roebuck still with a class win has a strong potential because his nearest rival is Simon Gallen down in 8th position. Timothy in 6th spot. Nose to tail still between Tim Sage and Richard Pryor. Pryor again with the same lockup that he had a lap ago at Brooklands, but seems to be able to live with that, and almost the difference coming off Brooklands is so severe that he almost ran in the back there of Tim Sage, but reacted well to it.
Yeah, so it's still Sage that's holding on to that position, isn't it? Second place, number 42 from 27 Pride. John Village, by the way, out front, 14-15 seconds clear, just another fastest lap of the race, a 1:13.71, so now at 1.7 seconds inside the previous lap record, which was held by Peter Chattin. We continue to focus on the Malek, leading the next 2 cars here, 2nd, 3rd and 4th together, very evenly matched. I think he does have a problem with the brakes, Richard Pryor, on that car. And now it's nearly gone red. Oh, and he's taken the nose off Nigel Howard's Centaur as well, which is now dragging, and you can hear it dragging underneath the car as well. It's almost sort of reattached itself, but it's a slightly more jaunty angle, having been completely removed. And now he's going to pull off the circuit, unfortunately.
Yeah, I don't know whether he can continue without the nose, but it's not going to go anywhere with the car at speed, so he'll need to stop and almost engage reverse to fully detach the nose from the car. But yeah, I think sensibly he may well be pulling off right and back into the paddock. Really unfortunate that for Nigel Howard, because you're right that the issue for Richard Pryor was getting more and more substantial, whether that's a brake bias issue or just a brake grabbing on one side of the car. Didn't grab a look of his route into Brooklands that time, but it looks to be getting slowly worse for the number 27 car. That JGS, I think it is to be correctly termed, running in 3rd position behind Tim Sage.
That's Charlie Plain-Jones, our Austin 7 class leader in number 22, and he has a considerable advantage over Richard Verheyden in 2nd position within that class. I think there's just those 2 cars still running, because we lost Hugo Pickup earlier on. There's a green flag waving there at Carter's. I think it's gone in again, so someone was briefly off the road there, possibly at Brooklands Hairpin, the preceding Marshall's post on the sort of Speedway straight there.
Yeah, have a look at some lap times as they come round to complete lap 10 to try and work out who that might have been. John Village's times, though, still very respectable indeed. Last time around, he was only 0.03 of a second shy of his best lap of the race, so he's extending the gap to nearly 20 seconds now. Tim Sage has got his hands full of the advances of Richard Pryor. There was a positional change there with well, Nigel Howard, I suppose, his new position and potential retirement just being logged by our timing system. As Timothy Roebuck still leading the supercharged class in 6th place, no, 5th place now with the demise of Nigel Howard.
Yeah, and this battle going on still for position for 2nd and 3rd now, Sage and Pryor. Pryor heading through Carter's that time, and through Honda that time to complete another lap. 2 minutes to go. John Village quite a bit further up the road, so is it going to be 2 or 3 laps that we get still to run in this race? Down to the hairpin at Hatchett's, and that is the 42 car of Tim Sage heading through there. There's Richard Pryor still there in 3rd position, so we've lost a few cars along the way in this race. Greg and Thuston, Hugo Pickup, Graham Wilson, of course, who was a front runner in the very early stages of this race, but I think we've got 12 cars now circulating left, including the 42 car of Tim Sage, and this is the battle of the race, really.
Now, there was definitely a squeal of tyres at Hatchett's at the start of the lap for Richard Pryor. How are the brakes this time into Brooklands? Much more controlled this time, so he might be driving around this issue. Carries very good speed through the middle of Brooklands corner again, and can almost draw alongside Tim Sage, but then the straight line speed of the Malek comes into its own and is able to keep the JGS at bay. But fascinating for me to see the slower speed, the amount of torque from Pryor's car in comparison to Sage, and then they get into their stride and the gap is maintained for Tim Sage, although closing up a little bit again as they cross the line. 45 seconds left on the clock.
Yeah, so they're probably starting their final lap maybe. I'm just looking at the checker flag is being prepared. I'm not saying it's going to be shown this time around. So look how hard he has to work and how hard you have to work generally in these historic 750 Formula cars. Good battle going on as well, a bit further back, by the way, I should say, for 4th and 5th. Trevor Slatter trying to get back ahead of Timothy Roebuck, because Roebuck got ahead on the previous lap. There's John Village. Now he's already making his way towards Carter's for the final time, and the checkered flag can see is being raised. Only 9 seconds to go, so it's going to be very tight whether we get the checkered flag or not this time. I think we probably are going to get it. Yes, we are. So it's going to be a second win of the weekend for John Village in the Raceparts historic 750 Formula Series. After that early skirmish with Graham Wilson in the Time 3B, it was really a dominant performance from John Village. We didn't need to see too much of him after that because everything else was going on further behind him, really. In the battle for second, it's just coming into Honda now for the final time. And who's it going to be? It is going to be Richard Pryor that's got it. Oh, has he on the final lap? I think, actually, our summon screen says, yeah, it's Tim Sage by 600ths of a second. Pryor was ahead coming into the corner, but all of a sudden, Sage was able to accelerate past him on the way out of it to take second place there from Pryor. And then the Slatter and Roebuck battle, as we said, that had swapped around again, so it's Slatter up to 4th place in number 72, and Tim Roebuck 5th in number 18, still winning his class. I'm not sure there's too many more cars left on the lead lap, but some dramatic scraps there down the order in that race, Johnny.
And even though they were embroiled in an intense battle, Tim Sage and Richard Pryor producing their best laps of the race on that final tour as well. 0.2 of a second gained by Pryor's JGS. It wasn't quite enough, as you say.
Let's quickly run through those results then at the end of that Raceparts Historic 750 Formula Series race. A 12-lap race for the Historic 750 Formula cars. The winner was John Village in number 29. He beat Timothy Sage by 23, nearly 24 seconds in number 42. Third place that went the way of number 27, that was Richard Pryor even. Get my teeth in. 4th to number 72, Trevor Slatter. 5th to number 18, Timothy Roebuck. Then it was 6th to number 23, Lyndon Thruston. 7th to number 61, Simon Gallen. 8th to number 19, John Ingram. 9th was 22, Charlie Plain Jones. And 10th was number 11, James Wiles. To note that Tim Roebuck and Charlie Plain Jones both won their classes. And then we got to Richard Verheyden in 11th. I think he was the last of the finishers because Nigel Howard, Graham Wilson, Hugo Pickup and Greg and Thruston didn't make it, unfortunately, to the checkered flag. What have we got before the lunch break? Still got 3 races to go. The Mighty Minis, the Ashok 116 Trophy and the Tigua Type R Trophy. But let's head down to the pit lane once again and Josh.
So we're down here again with another race win for John Village in his BRDC overalls. So we'll let John take his helmet off and then we'll grab a word with him. And then hopefully we should also get our class winners as well from the Austin 7 classes in the historic 750 Formula Series. John had quite a battle at the start of the race, but then that dissipated. Then you got a lap record later on, I think a couple of seconds under the lap record, John. So that was pretty quick. Then let's just let you take your helmet off, then we'll have a word with you. So the first time these cars are into Pembrey, I think, for a few years, and John showing all his pace from all his years of experience. Well done, John.
Oh, thank you very much.
I'll give you another winner's garland to add to your collection.
Thank you very much.
Like I say, quite a battle at the start of the race you had.
Yeah, obviously it's my first time here, would you believe, as a driver, not as an entrant, but as a driver, and I didn't know where the braking points were because you couldn't learn anything yesterday, but I eventually got there.
Yeah. Quite a fast circuit, lots of quick corners around here.
Oh yeah, lovely. Plenty of G-loading and a bit of fun.
Obviously you've been driving this car now for a couple of years and you're enjoying coming back into a Formula which you're racing way back then.
Yeah, I started in this Formula back in 1973. Yeah. That shows me age, doesn't it?
You got any particular memories of racing this type of car back then?
Oh yeah. There's 1 or 2 cars that are racing here that I was racing against then. So yeah.
And you're enjoying being back here in this paddock?
Yeah, it's all good fun, isn't it? So no pressure.
Yeah. So I know you had a little dabble in classic Formula Fords, but is this something you prefer, this type of racing?
Yeah, classic. You've got to go testing every day and all that, and I'm not into that anymore. So. Yeah. It's
great to have you here, John, and well done on a couple of wins.
Much.
Unfortunately, I don't think we are going to get time to speak to anybody else. The cars are back on the grid for the next race as this programme carries on with the Mighty Minis up next.